Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good whatever time of day it may be for you. I am the Layback Gamer, and we're back with some more Elder Scrolls Legends. Now, this is going to be two things combined into one. Um, First off, excuse me, I'm going to be reviewing the new monthly card for April 2018, which as you can see is Conjure Spirit. And then afterwards, I'm going to be talking about the most recent nerfs that happened to the game. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now, I'm going to talk about this probably for maybe about 10 minutes. So, if you're just here for to see what I think about the nerfs, then skip to about the 10-minute mark. I should be talking about it at that point. If you're just here for the card review, then you're in the right spot. So, Conjure Spirit, a 3-mana willpower support that's ongoing. Keep that in mind. And at the end of your turn, if you gained health, summon a 2/2 familiar. Now, I don't know what exactly the familiar is. Well, actually, I know exactly what it is, but in terms of what it's going to be in game, I think it's going to take a very similar approach to what the Sovngarde hero is. It is both Nord and a spirit card. It's both a spirit and Nord at the same time, which also makes it undead in that nature. However, I'm not quite sure if this is going to have the undead because because a familiar, this is technically not an undead. Rather, it's a conjurable spectral wolf-ish, if that makes sense. There is a spell in Skyrim that lets you summon these guys. It's very cheap. There's another version for a flaming familiar, which, as it sounds, is just a familiar that's burning. But in in Skyrim and in Legends, I think in Skyrim I know this, but in Legends I'm pretty sure it's also going to have the tag of Spirit and Wolf. So what does that mean? Well, it means here, let me go ahead and just look it up. Basically, anything with the name Wolf in it will benefit it. So Alpha Wolf will give it +2/+2. Pack Leader will give it +1/+1, and Wolf Cage it'll benefit off of it whenever you summon something from Wolf Cage. Here, summon a wolf from Wolf Cage. It gains +1/+1 for every other wolf on the field, and therefore, I think if you have Conjure Spirits out and you gain health, you've gained health a couple times, you have a couple familiars out, and then you play Wolf Cage, I think it should also benefit from it. I'm not 100% sure, but we will have to see. To me, it would make no sense if it did. It wouldn't make much sense if it did, because honestly, here. Oh yeah, there's also werewolves. Forgot about that. Which I have never tried to see if this worked, but I don't think it works the same as the. I don't think if I put a pack leader on it would affect a werewolf, even though it has the term wolf in it. But never mind. Never mind that. That's something for later. If we go back to here, it's not that hard in the game. It's not that hard to gain additional health. For example, the potion of health will do that for you. Any drain will do that. Yeah, that's really about it. Basically, this card goes well with drain. So in a drain monk deck, I could see this working out. However, I don't see too much more applications aside from that. We'll have to see. It might just be another niche thing that goes into a deck with Drain Monk. It would work actually pretty well if you have Ring of Nimira out, because now, in addition to dealing damage to your opponent for the amount of health you gain, you're also gaining a 2/2 at the end of your turn, which actually, hold on, now that I think about it, that wouldn't be... It would work well in a Betray deck. I completely butchered that spelling. So anything with the keyword betray. Oh, that's why I have it on 7. I'm like, why are there so few betray cards? But yeah, it would work really well with any of these. You get a free 2/2. It works perfectly with Blood Sacrament because essentially you lose nothing. All you do is pay 3 magicka. If you have one of these wolves out on the field, you pay 3 magicka. You betray. Hey, you get it cost for free. You've dealt 4 damage to your opponent. You've gained 4 health, and because you gained health with the Conjuring Spirit on the field, now you get the 2/2 back. It's a perfect cycle. Great for it's great for that. Wild Clumsiness, Wild Clumsiness, really good. I'm not quite sure where I was going with that. Anything else? Wouldn't be half bad with Rising of Bones, as you're essentially upgrading it by giving it +1 and 1 and guard. And well, that's really it. So I think it would work pretty well in a betray deck. Tokens, if you have a lot of drain, it could work pretty well in. Unfortunately, it would not. It works horribly in rally decks, as you don't rally anything. Can't. But if you do manage for Dagoth, if you get him out, then I'm not. Oh wait, you can't play it in Dagoth decks. I'm dumb. And you also can't play it in Telvanni deck. You can't play it in Telvanni deck, but anything with Betray on it. Oh boy. Would I want to play? Ooh, another thing. I think this actually. Now thinking about it, House Halahu, probably the best house. Probably one of the better places to play it in. Why? Well, for those of you who know, I'll give you a reason. Haunted Manor. Give the second creature you summon each turn +2/+2. Because it's the end of your turn, all you have to do is just play one creature, gain some health back. So, ideal case scenario. You have any creature on the field. If it has Drain, even better. But you have Elixir Vitality out, just in case you don't. You attack with a creature. Alright, let me... Oh boy, I was starting down a bad trail there. You have one creature in hand. You have Elixir Vitality in play, as well as Conjuring Spirit. You play the creature from hand, not attack with it. And if you have Elixir Vitality on the field, you proc that. If you have a drain, such as Cheydinhal Sapper, you attack with that. You gain health back. Then, you summon a 2/2. Because you're smart enough to have this little guy here, Haunting Manor, your 2/2 is now a 4/4 because it's the second creature you summoned. And, actually, oh, it's just the end of your turn. Okay, so it doesn't apply to the end of every turn. But I think if it's going to be played, it's going to be in House Halahu decks. It's going to give their Haunted Manors some extra value. It actually makes the Haunted Manor even stronger because all you have to do now is just gain 1 point of health, play a creature, insta 4/4 at the end of your turn. You just have a chain of 4/4s. Which, I don't know. I think it could be pretty useful. I'm not 100% sure, though. Then again, I might be just talking complete nonsense. But if there is a spot that it's going to be played, House Halahu is going to be it. It is going to be it. Anywhere else, very questionable. I don't think it could work anywhere else except for House Halahu because you have the agility and all the drain that it comes with it, as well as willpower. Strength doesn't have any, or it has very little, if any, drain. Unless you, say, plunder and happen to get a weapon from it. But besides the point, strength wouldn't have it. It's either going to work in House Halahu, which is my bet. It's where I'm betting it's going to work the most in, or it's going to work in a Drain Monk. We'll have to see, but I'm really hoping somebody can make it work. Alright, it's about the 10-minute mark, so without further ado, let's talk about the recent nerfs that have happened. And it's hit 2 cards. And one of them I have a lot to say on, and the other I have a lot to say on. Alright, so Manacora was a victim of the nerf hammer. Used to be 10-10. You don't see too much different, except it's missing the guard tag now. That's right, your Manacoras will no longer have guard. How do I think about this? I don't... I understand why they did it. They did it because of Temple Tribunal. But I don't think Manacora was a... I'm thinking if it was just Temple Tribunal exclusive, yes, perfect nerf, I'm fine with it. But it's willpower, so that's not the case. I've played with quite a bit of Manacora. I've played against quite a bit, and I know that guard, it gives you basically the extra turn. Say you're at 6 health, your opponent has 2 creatures with 6/6 on the board. Old Manacora would destroy one and then take the other in damage. Then next turn, say you pick up a card that will make you come back. Say say it's another Manacora, and your opponent only played 1 card. Manacora that card. That's not the case anymore, because now, well, I can't save myself with this. I get that it's as good as it's basically Javelin with in exchange for Prophecy, you get a 6/6 off of it. Which, in no means a 6/6 it's not bad at all. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, especially for what it's doing. However, I just think there could have been a better approach if they took some more time to look at it, because out of the games that I've played Temple Tribunal and some of the games that I've watched Temple Tribunal, it hasn't... First off, my camera's tilted, and I gotta fix this later. First off, Manacora didn't come out too often. From the games I've seen, the games I've played, from what I remember, I could be wrong on that, but I'm just trying to go off of memory. And whenever it did come out, yeah, it was a good deal, but it would get removed because of, say, it had guard or for other reasons. Very rarely did it stick around, and when it does stick around, yeah, it does make a good impact, but from the games I've played, it doesn't stick around too often to make a huge difference. And in Temple Tribunal, here's the problem with this, that I have with the nerf, is Manacora does not deserve to be nerfed. I don't think it should have been nerfed. The reason why it had to be is not because Manacora was so overpowered. If it was overpowered, they would have nerfed it long before this expansion. No. The problem is this. Not Temple Patriarch, no, but what attributes are in Temple Patriarch. Intelligence, willpower, and endurance. If you combo them up any way where there's only 2, each of them has a distinct weakness that the other does. For example, Mage has a lot of damage-based removal and hard removal, but it lacks in massive creatures. Something that Endurance does excel in. And Spell Sword has the big creatures and it has the hard removal, but it lacks... If you want to say just deal 2 damage to a creature to remove it, instead in Spell Sword you can't do that too well without having a creature. So that's where Intelligence come in. Intelligence, you can use a Fireball or Firebolt and get rid of something that has 2 health over wasting a Piercing Javelin on it when you got to use you need that to save that for something else. Then Spell Sword, you got hit the big creatures and you got the damage-based removal, but you don't have the hard removal. So All three of them alone, I think it was pretty decently balanced. But then when you put all three of them together, you just removed all of the weaknesses. You don't have the hard removal. You have the giant creatures. You have the damage base removal. And, well, yeah, there's not too much to say about it. It's just, I wish they, yeah, know myself, I'm choking over my own words. What do I think would have been a better nerf? I'm not sure what would have been a better nerf, but I don't think it was Manacora. Because all Manacora is going to do is just, well, people can't guard up anymore. So now instead of using this one Manacora to remove one creature, I'm going to use two other removal cards. Manacora, I don't think was ever the problem. I'm just going to pull him back up. I don't think Manacora was ever the problem. It's the three attributes that make up the Temple Tribunal that is the issue. And they got to kind of work through it, because I don't think just taking guard off of Manacora, I don't believe is going to change anything. Or at most, it's going to change very little. Oh, now my opponent can attack me after I play Manacora, and he's not going to guard there. Well, if you're playing against Temple Tribunal, you're not going to have any creatures on the field. Or you're going to have very few creatures, but they're not going to be very powerful. So, I don't think nerfing Manacora, I don't think that was the right move. And again, it's not, by no means is Manacora to blame for Temple Tribunal. At least, I don't believe it is. This is based on what I've seen, I don't believe Manacora is at fault. It's the attributes that make up Temple Tribunal that make it as strong as it is. Alright, I'm going to stop talking about that. Moving on to, oh boy, Nick sucks. When I first saw this, I thought this is what I thought Hearthstone should have done with Innervate. Innervate was a 0 mana card for Druid that gave the Druid +2 Magicka, or as I call it in the game, mana, for that turn. And it ended up getting nerfed because it was associated in way too many an absurd amount of combos. And it got nerfed, and a lot of people, including myself, were thinking, increase the cost. Increase the cost. Don't decrease it to 0, because you can essentially just get, there's a card in the game called the Coin, and you're just giving Druids basically 2 free copies of this coin. I mean, admittedly, before you gave them 4, or because each of the Innervates would give you 2 Magicka, but I think they should have increased it to say Innervate to be a 2 mana, gain 3 Magicka this turn only. And that's what Nixox is. It's at 7, or it was. It's at 7. You get a 5/5. If you gain 6, you essentially get it for 1 mana, but you have to get to turn 7 in order to capitalize on it. And I thought that was a really great design. It's a strong battle cry, or not battle cry, strong summon effect that, it rewarded people for getting to that point in the game, which I thought was great. And honestly, when I first saw this card, I thought, let's see here, our Soul Rest Marshal friend here, you combo it with this, and you're getting basically 9/9 worth of stats across 2 bodies out on the field, as long as you have more health than your opponent. Which I thought, man, that is really strong. That could be really amazing. And if you have 2 copies of that in hand, good job. You just got them for free. You just got 18/18 across 4 bodies for free. I'm stressing the free part at the time. But then this happened. Before the expansion, before we had this card get released, Ulfric's Uprising, which honestly, at the time, I thought to myself, this is a bad card. This is a bad card. yes, summon effects can be very, very powerful. But the chances of you keeping some of the more or powerful summon effects along for time in order to use this, not very likely. Especially since oftentimes with powerful summon effects, you get a strong body, such as Manacora. Remove a free creature. You play Ulfric's Uprising, oh, I just got another free creature removal, and I paid 4 less mana for it. Or Magicka. So at the time, I wrote Ulfric's Uprising as an awful card. And I thought maybe if you wanted to make it better and a little more playable, you'd also have it include items. Which at that point it might make it too strong, so you'd have to buff the Magicka cost to 7. But I think that would have been a fine buff for the card. Would have promoted a little more use of some more use of items, better, a little more. It would have just promoted you to play with summon minions more and summon items more instead of a lot of other stuff. So this card I thought was garbage. Nyx Ox I thought was really strong. Put them together. Now you have a problem. You have a problem in that when you play this out on the field, and no, not that. No. When you play Nyx Ox into, say, turn 8, you go Nyx Ox into Nyx Ox, old school, like before the nerf. You turn 8, you do that, you go down to 7, go down to 6, Ulfric's Uprising, go back up to 12. Then you could start. That's when you started to be able to pull some crazy combos off. I watched a bit of a shameless advertising for someone else, Justin Larson. Go watch him. He does some pretty good high rank deck video. The videos for Elder Scrolls Legends. I can't talk. Hold on a second. He does high play Elder Scrolls Legends videos, and I think he's a pretty cool person. He's not one of the only guys I watch. I'm actually going to. Funny enough, I'm going to be plugging in another guy in just a second, but I watched him play with Nyx Ox and Ulfric's Uprising and a couple other cards, and I said that is broken. He basically, I don't remember what turn it was. I think it was turn 8. Nyx Ox or Doppelganger, if you happen to have had it, which is a 5 mana 1/1 that transforms into another card. So, does that. Ulfric's Uprising goes back to 12. It goes up to 12. Then I think either he played a second one, another one. And I don't remember how it went, but basically he was able to do one turn kill with Nyx Ox's, Laneth in case he needed to pull out another Ulfric's Uprising, Ring of Mentor's Ring, and any creature with charge. And I saw it and said, "This is disgusting." That ruins the fun of the game, because basically, if you know you're going up against this deck, you have to kill him by turn 8, and the chances are turn 8 at the minimum. And the argument for that could be, well, it's not too hard. It'll be pretty difficult to get. No, it's not hard to get these creature this combo in your hand when you've built your deck around it. And I saw it and said, no, that this isn't good. This is not good. And long story short, any game I saw him with, most of the games I saw him with, he won. I think there may have been a couple that he lost. I don't remember. But essentially, when I saw this, I said, this is broken. No, they have to change this. They can't have something like this in. So now they nerfed it down to 5. I'm looking going, that's not going to fix it. That might delay it a turn, but that's not going to fix it. So then I go poking around on the internet, and I try to find another video that post-nerf, and I find one from another YouTuber named Furo, who does Hearthstone and Elder Scrolls Legends videos. If you want to go check him out, I think he's pretty. Also think he's a pretty good person as well. And he had a 6-minute video. Believe this was his first game. All he did was just move it from Justin Larsen's Assassin to his own Telvanni. Basically added the endurance in there. Still won. Very easy. I don't think taking this down by 1 Magicka doesn't help. It didn't, as I saw in a video, it didn't do anything. It did nothing. Yeah, let's push it back by 1 turn. But if you compare it to Justin Larsen's videos, most of the games that he was playing, and if we were to say, yeah, you have to wait 1 more turn, unless you're close to death, unless you're close to dying, and you have to pull it off that turn, or you're dead, it's not going to affect it. Just waiting 1 turn, no big deal. You can wait 1 extra turn. It's not a big deal. It was not a good nerf. It was not a good nerf in my opinion. What I believe they should have done, and it would make perfect sense for... it might not have made perfect sense. I'd have to word it a little differently on the card, but they change... When I think of somebody... Ulfric's Uprising, I think of like a bunch of elves, humans, Argonian, Hins, Khajiits, anything with the capability of speech reacting to this. A beast would not react to this. A wolf, no. Spriggans, no. Basically, most wildlife would not react to this. A goblin would, sure. Falmer, yes. Any of the races you can play in Oblivion, or any of the Elder Scrolls, yes. Even the Dremora, yes. Although we would probably have to exclude them just because they're all Daedra. But an Atronach would not care. A Dwemer wouldn't care at all. A beast wouldn't react to somebody trying to uprise, motivate, to give like a war cry to their fellow soldiers, and they wouldn't react unless they're trained to, but no. I think they should have made Ulfric's Uprising so that it would only trigger on a select group of summon abilities. So, like I said, any humans, elves, Argonians, Khajiit, Goblin, Falmer. Who else would I include in this list? I wouldn't include undead. I could argue for ash creatures, actually. Here. Let's just go ash. Yeah, I could argue with ash creatures because they're part of the 5th house. Or they're part of the 6th house. And so... yeah, I could argue that, yeah, put an ash creature. Ash creatures would react to that, to Ulfric's Uprising. But it's something like, let's see here. Something like a skeleton? They wouldn't. They don't care, they're dead. Dragon? I don't think... No, dragons wouldn't either. Dragons would not. A reptile, troll, beast, wolf, none of them would. Vampires, yes. Vampires would. But anything else that's basically... any non-human, Argonian, Khajiit, elf, Falmer, or goblin... I think I've named them all at this point, but I'm trying to get my point across as they should have changed what Ulfric's Uprising affected. Would make perfect, complete sense as in a lore-wise standpoint, and it would avoid all the very dangerous all those very dangerous combinations because, well, now you can play. Now you could still play Ulfric's Uprising, but if you have Nixoxes on the field, it wouldn't affect them. But say the Laneth or the Bringer of Nightmare. Hold on a second, my dog's barking.